This is Kendra.
And this is Brianna. Welcome to Camp Comparisons,
Where she's in one camp and I'm in the other. Okay, so let's just get this out of the way and state the obvious that I sound very funny. I'm just getting over a cold and I have like that funny husky voice going on right now. So
yeah, in last episode I had the slightly stuffed nose voice going on. But this time I'm fine. So
I mean, hopefully you guys can hear me. I think it's fine. Also, before we get into our recap, I wanted to just give a little like Percy Jackson news segment.
Yeah.
I just thought this was interesting. I don't know if anybody else does, but I was reading an article about how this was actually such a hit for Disney Plus. Like the season was such a hit. And they've recently, like there's like the statistics of the last several things they put out, like Wish and I think the latest Indiana Jones movie and a couple other things, they just tanked. They just did not do really good.
Yeah.
And they haven't been producing those amazing movies or shows that they had been before. So the fact that this really hit it off, there's some prediction that we're going to get like a lot more in the budget. They'll be able to put more into it because there's like, oh good, this is going to be our new like Marvels or something, you know?
And hopefully that means that they'll take the fans, yelling into consideration, even if it just means more episodes or longer episodes, like if that's all it does, or, brings in some characters that we love. Maybe they'll be able to afford to put in artists or something. Like, probably not.
I don't really, yeah.
But,
fine.
like, hopefully that also means that because we're the ones bringing in all the money that, they'll listen to us a little bit. Not enough to change, the basis of the show or anything. Spoiler alert. Please skip ahead 1.5 minutes to avoid spoilers about book 2.
Yeah, I'm nervous about Tyson. Like, I'm really hoping they can pull off the one eye and the thing.
Well, the mist, kind of like when Grover's walking around all the time in the human world with them, he often has not satyr-looking legs.
Yeah, like in the very beginning of the season, yeah.
Yeah, and some other times when they're in public, I'm pretty sure.
But I'm pretty sure they're gonna do Tyson with just one eye.
But
after the first part of the season, because remember at the beginning he doesn't.
I'm just saying, any time that Tyson is on quests with them,
he could have 2 eyes.
That they could make him, they could cut down on the budget just by making it look like, oh, this is how the mortals are perceiving him.
Yeah, there's so many things they can do. So I'm a little nervous about it because I love Tyson so much and I hope it works out really well.
And it's supposed to be like a bit, like his eye is not supposed to be like grotesque or like whatever. Like,
no.
He said it's like kind of cute. It's like a big brown like cow's eye or something. Like,
I don't think it's it better not be grotesque. It should be cute.
Yeah.
Have you seen that a lot of people, and I actually want to get into later when we finish all of our season 1, I want to get into like coming up with like ideas of who could play season 2 characters.
Yeah.
If it's not already announced by then, actually it might be. The way we're going, it probably will.
No.
But I've heard a lot of people suggest the guy who plays Dustin in Stranger Things to be Tyson.
I can see that.
Wouldn't that be cute?
Yeah.
So just to recap what we went over, we started on episode 2 of season 1, and we just went over the whole, like, when Percy wakes up and he goes and sees Mr. D outside, and then Mr. D tries to convince him he's his dad, and then Mr. Brunner, Chiron takes him, and they do a tour of the camp, and then the last thing we hit on was Grover going to the council. So that's where we ended.
Yep. And one thing that I didn't say about the council thing, but it's not really about the council thing, that I wanted to touch on is that when Grover's walking through the woods to go meet his mom, you see in the background the dining pavilion for the first time. Like when you didn't see it before. When they walked through the camp, you saw the amphitheater, but you didn't see the dining pavilion. So you get a glimpse of it for the very first time. With the, no roof and the columns and the picnic benches.
Yeah.
And so that was just cool. That was the first time you see it.
That, yeah.
And as he's walking through the forest, I just remember thinking, the forest looks exactly how I pictured it. I mean, I pictured a few more monsters in it, but it was like, it felt like it was the forest I had imagined.
Yeah.
Even though
I don't think that monsters are just like wandering around everywhere you look.
It's deeper, like kind of like the Forbidden Forest. Like the deeper you go, the more dangerous it gets.
Yeah.
But I just thought what a good forest. Even though I knew like, I know that they filmed it in, like, Canada or something. Like, they didn't actually film it
no,
in those kinds of forests.
Maybe. I'm not sure where they filmed that scene, but remember, they set up that whole camp. Oh, you haven't seen the making of Percy Jackson video yet. So everybody, Disney Plus has, like, the making of season 1 video. It's so good.
I feel like I've seen clips of it,
They found the
nothing
camp.
but the location.
They actually found the location. I think it was in Oregon. The location for the camp. They did a lot of their filming in Canada, but they actually found the perfect land that they set up build those buildings in.
Well, that makes sense too, because I just like the forest is very...
Or Washington, not Oregon, Washington.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
The forest is pretty lush and dark, and that doesn't seem like the kind of forest that would naturally grow in
Long Island.
No. However, I always imagined the forest lush and dark anyways. I just imagined it had a little bit of god magic in it.
Well, it's magic,
so
for sure.
It seemed fine to me. But yeah, I think the forest was a good forest. They picked a good one.
It was a good forest. Before we continue, I'll go ahead and do the spoiler reminder. Just remember when you're listening to this that we will spoil whatever happens in season 1 and book 1. So, but we will give warnings ahead of time for any other books.
Yeah. Last episode we did was the first episode that we didn't talk about other books too much.
I noticed that. Yeah, it's funny.
I think we've said most of what we had to say until we get into more Luke stuff, at least.
Yeah. Do you want to introduce the next scene?
Yeah, so after Grover talks to the Cloven Elders, he goes back to talk to Mr. D and Chiron about how Sally can't really be dead. It must have been Hades stepping in.
Yeah. And there's that amazing line where Grover's like, I don't think she died because, like, I think he says something like, I assumed that if humans were smushed, they would get a little squishy like a banana or something, makes some kind of comment like that. It's so funny. And then he's like, I think that Hades took him. And they're like, we know.
Yeah, they already know.
And he was not happy with that. He's
he was like, you're not
telling Percy? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It hurts Grover's heart that...
I also love that he just has definitely never seen a human die. Like,
no, they get all squishy like a banana. He's seen a lot of monsters die. Yeah. He's never seen a human die. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and so then they basically tell him, Mr. D orders him, you will not say anything.
Right. And this is a perfect moment where we could have maybe gotten a hint that Dionysus is actually like a part of the Cloven Elders. He's like both an honorary member and also the head of the satyrs. Like,
yeah,
he is the god of the satyrs, basically. Yeah. They are under his command, and that's why, especially in the book, Grover is downright terrified of Dionysus.
Like,
he is
full on shaking.
Which makes his bravery when he does sometimes stand up to Dionysus or sides with Percy. Like, you see how brave he's being, even though he's like shaking when he does that. Here you can see that he definitely knows he needs to listen to him, even though he doesn't. But you don't really get that that's his like master. That's like the god of the satyrs.
Yeah, there could have been a little bit more intensity on him saying, like, you will listen to me.
Yeah.
Like, do not disobey me.
Yeah, but that seems like when your dad says to not do something. Yeah. You're like, I probably shouldn't, but also I probably will.
I probably will. Exactly. So that kind of ends there. It's just a short scene. But then we go right into Percy's dream.
Yeah. Well, that actually ends day 1 at camp.
No, it can't be because I'll tell you, I thought that too. But I'm pretty sure Percy's just taking a nap. The reason why is when he wakes up, first of all, everybody's awake. That doesn't mean anything. But then they go to dinner. And it's his first time going to dinner because that's when they explain, what's that sound? Ding, 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 ding. Oh. So I actually think he's just took a nap in the middle of the day. Which
didn't he just sleep for like a whole day?
Uh-huh. Or maybe 2 or 3 days. We don't know.
He still wasn't feeling good. Okay, let me check my notes because this isn't making sense anymore. Okay, so it's nighttime when he goes and talks to the elders. When Grover talks to the elders, it's nighttime. And then when Percy wakes up, it's daytime. So he must have slept the whole night.
So somehow he just maybe skipped dinner or it's just how they did the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
fair enough.
Whatever format they pick.
Again, this is not what happens. In the book, this is not what happens.
Yeah, so it's hard. That's
hard
why I'm trying to map out the timeline. Like, how many days was he actually at camp before he left? I know it's only one episode, but how many days was he there before he went on his quest? So far, 1 day at camp.
Yeah. And then now he wakes up in the morning so he has this dream of Kronos, right?
Yeah.
So again, it's the same figure with the weird black tattered cloak. And I didn't really make much notes about it. Just that he says something about, your dad left you, you want justice. Like, he's trying to egg him on to fight against the gods.
Cronus is always like that. He'll just find whatever weakness you have, whatever hate you have towards the gods, and that's what he used to turn you to his side. So
yeah.
He's
and
trying
again,
to use that.
This dream didn't happen in the book. We are still in chapter 6 of the book at this point, from what I can match up. There is a dream in chapter 9, which they never show, which is instead of the horse and the eagle fighting, it's actually the two gods fighting. And he's like trying to run after them to get them to stop. And then this is the first time you hear Kronos' voice in the dream.
Proper voice.
And all he says is, come down, little hero, or come down, or something like that.
Yeah.
That's all.
Down to
Tartarus.
Not down to a sandy plain.
Yeah, or whatever that is. That is the only matchup I can do with that part of the TV show.
Yeah. So in the morning, he now starts to talk to Luke about his dream. Luke says we all have them. Mm-hmm. They run into Clarice, and Luke explains about how you need glory, and that's what can protect you
and
from
that's
bullies.
Also not in the book. This whole thing about glory and how he goes along this whole line of glory is also not in the book at all. It's something, I guess it's okay, but I don't know why it was needed particularly. Maybe to show Luke's character a little better.
Yeah, I think it gives you the first hints of how he thinks, but then you also get the impression later that Annabeth has that same train of thought, which Percy then changes.
And I really do not agree that she is of that thought at all. The way...
Really?
Well, we'll get to... Okay, we're going to get to it when we get to the Tunnel of Love, okay?
I mean, she was dying to go on a quest.
I know.
Even in the book, she's been dying to go on a quest. She hardly even seemed to care what the quest was about.
No, I know. It's not so much the glory thing as the other whole conversation he had with her about not caring about each other. Anyways, let's talk about that when we get to that, because I have to review that again. But I did also want to say is that when he woke up, and Luke was in the cabin, and he was saying we all have dreams, and he started talking about ADHD and dyslexia, and he says, you're just like everyone else here, you're not different.
Yeah.
And so that was an interesting, that's kind of where not Luke, Percy starts to see I can be accepted in this group.
Right. Which is why when he gets hit by Clarice and he sees another bully, he's like, I feel like he's very really susceptible to this new way of thinking because he's finally feeling accepted.
And he wants to stay accepted.
And he wants to stay, yeah. Now, of course, Aries kids are just naturally that, it seems, in the books. Just kind of,
they're going to pick on, they are going to pick on the weaker ones because Aries does not value weakness at all.
No. Yeah, it's kind of especially in the first book, it's very much the, YA, there has to be a bad group of people like the Slytherins or whatever. And it's just everyone just assumes that all of them are instantly bad people.
All the Aries
because that's how we're categorizing people. There's good people, there's bad people, there's smart people, Yeah. But luckily, unlike in Harry Potter, Rick was smart enough to flush out those characters a bit more as we get along the series so that you don't have to hate all of them just because they're born
as the Aries. Yeah. Yeah. Especially when we get into the second book series.
Yeah, you definitely learn to appreciate them more, and they're not all just bullies, but it is hard having a dad like Aries because he sucks.
Seriously. So I also want to point out, I don't know if you picked this up or not, but the guy who's hanging out with Luke all the time throughout this whole thing is Chris Rodriguez.
Yes.
And we don't actually get introduced to him until the Labyrinth one. What's it called? The
Battle of the Labyrinth?
Battle of the Labyrinth, maybe?
I want to say he was mentioned one time in Titan's Curse, so that when you do see him in Battle of the Labyrinth, you're hey, I know who that is, but potentially not.
Yeah, so we are actually and the only way we know this is because it says on the what's it called? The words on the bottom of the screen when you put on subtitles.
The captions, yeah.
And then also in the credits at the end.
Yeah.
And so anybody who hasn't read the book is not going to, like, there's like, okay, some guy named Chris. But we know a lot more about Chris.
Right.
I actually thought that was really cool to show him in there.
Yeah, because...
And to show him with Luke, because we know he's one of the kids that goes off with Luke, so.
Yeah. Something that Mike Schubert, the guy who runs a Percy Jackson podcast, something that he mentioned when he was reading the books that I never really noticed, probably because I read a lot more young adult than he ever has, is that we'll hear about, 3 to 5 campers outside of the main group of campers. And then suddenly, a new name will pop up. And you'll just get the impression that, Percy's known this person existed or has had interactions with this person for years, but, we've just never heard their name. And then all of a sudden we hear their name. Mm-hmm. And Chris is, a good example of it. I'm sure he was there, but he just the name was never brought up. So Rick will just pull a character, just give them a name, give them a plot,
and
out of nowhere, and it's we've never heard about this
because we don't
before.
get this full roster of every single camper in the first book.
And Percy's always running off doing stuff anyway.
Yeah, he's not paying attention.
Yeah, so, but in a TV series where you're not reading a person's name over and over and over again, especially if you don't do closed captions all the time, I think it's smart to get, some good FaceTime with characters when possible if they're gonna come back later, because then later you're not I'm sorry, who is this?
Where's this guy?
In seasons too, you're am I supposed to remember this? Sometimes I've watched shows and been I'm sorry, is this a new character or am I supposed to remember who this is? Because the last season came out a year ago.
And I don't know. Remember. Yeah, that makes sense.
So it is. I think it's great. I was so happy that Chris was there.
Yes, it was fun. Okay, yeah. So he talks about Glory, and then right then, or somewhere right in there, Clarice runs into him. So that's where we get to meet Clarice LaRue, I think her name is.
I don't know.
You didn't know that? I think it's Clarice LaRue. And she's obviously a bully, and she pushes over Percy, and then when she leaves, he's so Clarice would leave me alone because of Glory.
Yeah, and then he's so how do I get this?
Yeah, how do I get this? But then he's also and my dad will claim me, and Luke's well, you can't really make the gods do anything. And he's just no, it's gonna work. And he was right.
He was right.
So that whole conversation does not happen in the book.
No.
There you go.
Nope.
In fact, we did miss the whole section in the book where Annabeth, and I mentioned this last time, so Annabeth takes him around, gives him a tour, and she talks to him a lot, and she gives him so much data. Yeah. So we did miss all that.
Yeah.
But now we have Luke saying, oh yes, we're getting into the next scene.
Yes, we are. But I want to say at the first look of Clarice, what I noticed right away watching the episode for the first time is that she's, gorgeous. And in the books, she is described not gorgeous at all. No. However, I'm glad that we're breaking out of this weird, again, another YA trope where good guys are hot and bad guys are ugly. And it's a really weird thing that was going on during this time period when this book was written and Harry Potter was written. I'm sure there's many other examples. But I'm glad we're breaking out of that because pretty people are usually meaner. No, just kidding. That's not why. But it's just it's so silly to do it that way. And also probably bad for people's self-esteem if they have bad self-esteem already. They're oh great, I would be a mean person in a YA novel.
It's true. And it is a very young kid type of thing. Harry Potter, she did that a lot in the first book. She really described people that way. And then this one he does that in most of the monsters too, the people they're also ugly. Yeah. But yet we'll get into it when we get to the monsters, but they don't portray them in the show that way.
Yeah,
but
and I think it's good because that's such a silly thing to do.
Exactly. And then if anybody cares at all, I would just like to read the description of Clarice so you can see how completely this is not her.
Yeah.
It says, the big girl from the ugly red cabin was sauntering toward us. Oh, shoot. Oh, it just says she had 3 other girls behind her, all big and ugly and mean looking like her, all wearing camo jackets. I thought there was more about how she looked, but maybe it's later.
Yeah.
But probably. Still, you get the idea that she's big and she's mean and ugly.
Yeah, it literally says
and she's so not any of those. She is tall.
And she is mean.
And she is mean. And she does kind of have the mean look. But she's definitely not ugly.
No.
Which is totally fine. Yeah. I did expect a different look, but like you said, I'm kind of happy that they didn't do that.
The only thing I will say about mean equals ugly or whatever is something actually from a Roald Dahl book where he explains in like one of his short books, you know, I think it was The Twits, how he explains like you can be the most beautiful person, but after years and years of being a bad person, like you will slowly just become ugly from being such a bad person.
Right.
So that's the only thing I'll ever give like credit to when it comes to this stuff. Is that, like, it's probably, like, when you see someone who's been mean for a lot of their life, you can kind of tell from, like, their face
sort of sets into this, like...
Into this mean look. They just give off mean energy, and you can consider that to be, like, an ugly look on someone. Yeah. So, there is that, but still mostly a ridiculous trope from these books.
Exactly. Okay, good. So, that kind of finishes that scene, and we get into the scene where we have, like... They're trying to figure out what Percy's good at, right?
Which does happen in the books, except for that we don't get a canoe scene, which I was sad about.
I know.
So you see him trying to do blacksmithing with someone who it better be Charlie that you see on screen.
I know. I totally thought that. Like, so Charles, Charles. They say Charlie.
Sorry,
Charles Beckendorf.
Selena calls him Charlie.
Oh, okay. Charles Beckendorf, we know, is the head of the
Hephaestus.
Hephaestus cabin, and that's usually the Hephaestus guys doing the blacksmithing. So I think he looked like a great Charles.
Me too. I hope that.
Since he didn't say anything, and I didn't look on the credits, I should have looked to see if they named him or if they just said blacksmith.
They probably wouldn't want to commit early, but they might bring the same guy back. That's what I would think, because I don't think we really
they don't get him until book 3.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, that was cool. They did not also show. And I know they show this in, like, some kind of, like, a little bit. They show this a little bit in, like, the, what's it called when he's remembering sword fighting, right? But in the montage in the book, which, by the way, is chapter 8, not chapter 6, he is actually good at sword fighting. When he dumps water over his head, he suddenly, like, gets really good. And he, like, does this move that, what's his name, Luke, teaches him. Right. So we don't see any sword fighting in this.
And everyone, when he does that, everyone looks, like, super... shocked, and
I really
even
wish
Percy was like, "Are you mad at me that I beat you?" And Luke was like, "No, but like it was like lucky or whatever, something like." He
wanted to try it again, and then when they tried it again, it didn't work because he had the little bit of water had worn off. You know? Yeah, but they don't show that, so they just basically show him not being good at anything.
Yeah,
which.
I feel like they should have put in. Shown. It doesn't. The sword fighting, I'm not upset about them showing it later. I don't.
I mean, I just wish they would have shown at least one scene in this montage.
I think it was so cool having it like spliced together with that fight that he does in the last episode with Ares.
It was cool that they did that, but
I remember getting super excited, like, oh my god, we finally get to see it.
That's so true. You're right.
I'm okay with that. However, just one scene of him being really good at canoeing.
I know, because he makes one a joke
so funny
about only being good at canoeing. But here's the deal. I'll tell you why I bet you they can't do that. Because when you really think about how obvious it was that the only thing he's good at is water, and no one went like, oh, you're obviously the son of Poseidon. Like, it was so dumb in the books that they never figured that out. I think if they showed that in the TV show, everyone would have been like...
Well, everyone already knows.
Well, if you've never read the book, do you know?
Can't you tell from the cover art?
Of the TV show?
What's the cover art of the TV show?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think you can tell from the cover art.
The cover of the book, though, right? Isn't it pretty obvious? Isn't he, like, by the ocean?
He's in the water.
He's literally in the water.
But that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't.
All right.
Anyways, my point being is it's so obvious. Like, he's good at canoeing. He feels good when water's on him. I mean, so many different... And he did that thing with Clarice in the bathroom, which I know we haven't gotten to yet right now. But all that's done, you would be like, okay, he's obviously the son of Poseidon. So I almost wonder if they left it out because they're like, that's just too much.
But it's so funny. It's just like...
the best thing, the only thing he's good at is racing in the canoe.
But he, like, defeated the Minotaur, but he can't do, like, anything except for canoe.
Yeah, totally.
Oh.
Well, anyway, so they do that whole thing. It's funny because I keep trying to match up things with the book, and this particular part keeps jumping around. But when they then go and they're sitting in the pavilion, and he says, "Is there a Greek god of disappointment?" And then Chris is like, I forget what he said.
There's a goddess.
It's a goddess
but
of
she's more
failure.
Yeah.
I think.
I think so.
When that whole conversation happens, that's when he first learns about the burnt offering. So that's actually in chapter 7. So the montage stuff is in chapter 8. That part is chapter 7. So they're just bouncing around these chapters while they're in camp. So
Yep.
But you do get, he does learn about the burnt offerings in the book.
Yeah.
This one, I did like how they did it. I like how he's like, they like the smell of burnt mac and cheese. And he says, no, they like the smell of begging. Yeah. No. Begging?
I think
so. The smell of begging. Yeah.
Yeah. Because then they pray.
Because you're like...
But in the book, however, I just want to say that you do learn when Percy does the burnt offering, he gets a whiff of what it smells like. And
you
you
learn it smells really good.
that it smells like really good.
It actually doesn't smell like the smell of the burnt food. It's like smells like something else, right?
It does smell like food, but not like in the way he was expecting.
Yeah, okay.
It just smelled like really good, different types of food or something, I think.
Yeah.
And you do... Anyways, you just get the idea that the way that they're doing it, because they're praying magically, not just throwing bits of food in a fire, willy-nilly, that it's that the gods actually do get a good smell, and it kind of like feeds them in a way. Like you're feeding the gods, not maybe literally filling their stomachs, but like you're giving them your energy, and in that way you're like, feeding into their power.
And also we do know that like the gods are given power by the belief and prayers, and so offerings would be part of that.
Yeah. So like it is like, whatever, you're doing a real thing for them.
Yeah. So that made me want to actually read part of that. So in the book, chapter 7, when for his first time eating at the pavilion, it was actually cool, and it would have been neat to see this, where basically they all sit down. They have to sit by like tables, right? Mm-hmm. And he's sitting with the Hermes guys, because that's where he is right then. And it talks about how the wood nymphs bring all these platters of food. But he says, my glass was empty. But Luke said, speak to it. Sorry for the squeaky voice. Speak to it. Whatever you want. Non-alcoholic, of course. So then he says, cherry Coke. And the glass fills with sparkling cherry Coke. And then he goes, actually blue cherry Coke. So then it turns into blue. And then he was like, oh my gosh, that's great. So that was kind of a cute little thing that they didn't show. And I just thought it was kind of neat that they can like talk to the food.
That's like Dionysus's gift.
Yeah, you could always just say Mr. D. That's what I say.
That's fair.
And then, so here's what it says. So he scrapes a big slice of brisket into the flames. And then he goes, when I caught a whiff of the smoke, I didn't gag. It smelled nothing like burning food. It smelled of hot chocolate and fresh baked brownies, hamburgers on the grill, and wildflowers, and 100 other good things that shouldn't have gone well together, but it did.
Right, so it does smell like food in a way, but not really like what they're putting in it.
Yeah, almost like happiness with food. You know? That's what he smelled. So, so there's the exact thing.
And then I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive that in another book, when he does the burnt offering and prays to Poseidon, that at one point he catches like a whiff of like a fresh salty air, like sea air, in a different book, I think.
In a different book,
and he takes it like as a good sign that his dad is listening. Pretty sure that does happen. Couldn't tell you what book, but I swear that does happen at some point.
Yeah.
So I almost think that like even the wildflowers could be Persephone or whatever. Like you do get like a mix of all of the things that the gods love.
Interesting.
Probably mixed in the fire.
Yeah. Well, anyways, that's just, again, me just trying to line up the book with the TV show. But they do the burnt offerings, and then we go into a new scene. Because Luke says, like, this is how you get them to listen to you, basically, right? Like, you know that they might, you know that they're going to hear you if you give them, no. He says something like, if you give them the thing that you're going to miss the most, or you're going to like want the most, like your favorite part of your food, then you basically have a good chance of them listening to whatever it is you ask for. Right. So then it goes into now that night. So we must be on the second night. Yeah. He's outside and he's burning his blue jelly beans, which are his most prized thing right now because this is what his mom gave him.
Yeah. And he's talking to his mom, though. He's not really talking to
I know when he started talking and he started talking to his mom, I was like, Aww. Like,
but also, did you not listen to Luke? He said the god. Just kidding. But no, I think it's really cute. He's like honoring his mom as if she is a god.
Exactly. That like it would work the same for her as it would the gods.
Yeah, and I wonder if it does. I mean, probably not, but I bet you $1,000 million that Poseidon was fully listening to that
conversation.
Yeah,
100%, because he burnt something over the fire, and I think at that point it just immediately gets attention. It's like a little bell rings somewhere.
Yeah, and if it's the thing you love the most, like, it must have gotten Poseidon's attention, and Poseidon's attention is already on Percy at this time because he's like hoping that Percy will be able to save him from this war. And
he's got
all this stuff. So he definitely heard the whole thing, and I bet you it made Poseidon sad. At least the TV show Poseidon.
Yeah.
Book Poseidon might have been a little bit sad.
I think Book Poseidon
cared. He totally still loved Sally.
Yeah.
But even when the gods are in love with humans in the book, you really get the idea that they're still, like, their version of loving a human is so different from
it's like having a pet. Other. Like, you can love, like, 15 pets. They can love 15 humans.
Yeah.
It's not, what is it called? Monogamous.
Yeah, and of course, Sally's, like, the first human woman that he's been with for a really long time because of the pact and whatever. So, like, in a way, it's more monogamous than some of the other gods. However, still, like, there's still a different, more distance and a different type of feeling.
It is a different feeling. Yeah, they are gods who have forever numbers of years ahead of them. This is like this period of, like, 80 years that this human is living is a blink of an eye almost,
Yeah, like, a great difference is that Book Poseidon would never ever just show up at a restaurant to talk to Sally. No matter what she did.
And that's what happens in the later.
It just wouldn't happen.
No. She's definitely not in touch with Poseidon in the books at all.
No.
And so they do make that happen in the TV show. Sorry.
And I think it's cute.
It's cute.
I'm not mad about it, but it's definitely, it more humanizes the gods. Yeah. They're definitely not human.
Yeah, no, like he goes about his time, and next thing you know, Percy's like 12, and he's like, oh my gosh, it's like nothing.
Exactly.
I do want to say that this conversation with his mom is cute.
But long.
And why? Like, really, why? Like, again, we could have gotten so much more camp, and I don't know if these adults that put these things together realize, and listen, I know I'm an adult, but there's a kid in me. I read these books, how much we love seeing this, like, you're now, like, you were just a normal person, and you're now in this camp, and there's all these cool things.
Like a lava rock wall.
Like the lava rock wall we didn't get. Like, all this cool stuff. And even just him doing more on his montage, or, I don't know. There could have been so much more camp in there, and instead they did this phone call, quote unquote phone call to his mom, which was cute, but I just think unnecessary.
I did basically note the same thing. It's long and maybe a waste of time, but it was probably the best way to show Percy's inner thoughts. So I think that is why they did it. You don't just, you kind of get the idea in general that he's enjoying himself and not hating it, but you get to know that he's still missing his mom, still thinking about her. He's still on this quest to make Poseidon notice them, and he doesn't get to ignore us. And that he is feeling accepted and happy and like he has friends. So,
and you get the idea also from that he's called his mom many times in the past at a new school and called to say, Mom, I don't like it here.
Yeah.
Which, can I just point out that Percy Jackson would never do.
No.
Maybe in the beginning. I'm not sure. But in the last...
he was younger.
Yeah. He did not want his mom to worry. He did not want his mom to stress.
He always tried to stay positive. He would not be calling
and complaining on the first day of or the second day of school. So
again, maybe when he was like 7 or something.
Yeah.
But he even says, like, even later in the series as he's going to different schools and stuff, he always tries to stay positive in front of his mom, even though he's always like, this is not going to work. It's never worked. He's always like, I'll try my best. Like, here we go. And like, he really wouldn't. But like, maybe he's referencing the farther past.
No, they definitely make it clear that he makes his phone calls at every new school, and that this time is the first time, hey,
it's good
I actually
news.
like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, again, it was a cute conversation, but if I were to have been able to critique and help them out here, I would have said either shorten it or put some more camp.
I think shorten it. I just think that we do need to know what Percy's thinking.
Okay.
And we do need to get into his head, but I do think it went on a little longer than strictly this. There's a lot of silence. Like, there's a lot of time where he wasn't actually saying anything. I was like, okay, we can come past this.
Is that emotion? Are they trying to, like,
it's
pull
supposed to be
emotion
emotion, I think. But I was like, if he's not talking, then why are we here? Like, let's move on.
It's so funny. I go back and forth on this because, like, there is a very big fandom for Percy Jackson. It's not as big as, like, Harry Potter or Star Wars or anything like that. But it's still a big one.
Yeah.
And we are, interested in seeing what the book shows us and not particularly new things. But at the same time, I understand that they're not just doing it for the fans of the already fans of Percy Jackson. They're also trying to make new fans.
Yeah.
And so I understand that they change things for that reason. And I have parts of me, the part of me that just I want exactly what the book is. Like wars with the part of me that understands that we need a little.
You should just read the graphic novels.
Why?
Well, that's the closest you're going to get. You'll get, like, the pictures and the art of what's happening while the dialogue's happening. However, it follows the book.
Oh, interesting.
Exactly.
Maybe saying. I should. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe that'll help fill that little hole.
Yeah, fill that hole, yeah. Yeah, it's fine. I just, every once in a while, I just hear in my head the recording of Rick Riordan saying, like, I know that my fans wanted a faithful, like, rendering of this or something. He makes some kind of comment like that, and then he's like, and this is what we gave you. And I'm like, no. But okay. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not the way he says that he.
Well, maybe his definition of faithful is different. It is faithful to the source material. They don't.
It's faithful to his head.
Yes, but they don't go off into really weird paths where, like, the essence of a character is completely changed unless you count Gabe. Unless you count Gabe and Sally.
No. A little bit more than that.
And no, I mean the real essence of them, not their lines or a bit of their attitude, but like if I know you don't really remember the movies, but Grover in the movies is a completely different character. He's like a ladies' man. Like, all he's interested in is the ladies. Like, he's like super cool and so suave. Funny. Like, it's just a different character. It's not even close. And then Annabeth is both Annabeth and Clarice put into the same character. That's why. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. I was thinking about, I think we talked about this, but I was thinking that when we're done with this season, while we're waiting for the new season, it'd be fun to take the movie.
You can't even compare it to the books. It's like, it's just different.
Oh, really? Okay.
You can compare it to the TV series.
We'll have to watch the movies and see if we can do anything with that. But
we could compare some of it to the TV series.
And what they did in the TV series.
Yeah, like certain
where it matches up.
Certain, like, set designs.
Or even something. The characters and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, so he stuck to the material and the general storyline's the same. He's not introducing Persephone's pearls again, like this movie thing where they're on a quest to find the pearls. Yeah. And there's one pearl at a different location.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a different
remember that
quest.
Being the case, yeah.
Anyways, so it is faithful, and it's just a bit jumbled because it's a TV show, so not everything happens in exact order, but we get basically every part, and then we just get a few new things.
Okay, fine. Well, that was a little tangent, but we are now. So we're now in this scene, the bathroom scene.
Right. So he leaves the burnt offerings, we assume, and heads to the. No, he's just walking back to his cabin, and he's like, "Oh, you guys can't sleep either."
That was so cute. That was the cutest smile when he sees them. Like, I can't quite tell if he was trying to be funny or if he knows, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble.
I think
that
he's
smile,
like really
he's like,
hoping.
Can't sleep?
Yeah, he's like hoping that maybe
they suddenly became friendly, even though they were like literally threatening him earlier that day.
Yeah, like maybe Luke's protection was still holding. Oh my gosh! Or maybe
it's so cute though when you see Walker's face when he does that. Yeah, it's so cute. This is different. I just want to point out that, like, in the book, which is also back to chapter 6, so we're bouncing around chapter 6, 7, and 8. But in chapter 6, Annabeth is giving him the tour, and it's actually during this scene in the book that the Clarice cycle happens. So basically, Clarice, like, says, "Hey, we have an initiation for new campers." And Annabeth is like, oh.
Yeah.
She doesn't, and she doesn't do anything about it, because she's like, whatever.
But she's also, you kind of get the idea that she knows that with her and Percy and then Clarice and her Aries friends that she can't do much. Like, you kind of get the impression that even if she was going to help, she probably couldn't do much.
Yeah.
And she just doesn't want to also, get on the bad side of Clarice. So she's just kind of, does nothing, stays quiet.
Yeah, and you get this part of, well, actually what happens is Annabeth tries to say something, like, she tries to say Clarice, and then Clarice goes, stay out of it, wise girl. And then...
Which is funny that she's the first person that
she's the first person calls her wise girl. So maybe that's where Percy gets the wise girl.
Yeah, it's not even his original joke. He really got it from Clarice.
I never even noticed that until it just came out of my mouth right now. That's amazing. But this is where you get a little bit of Percy's thought, where he says, I didn't really want her help being Annabeth. I was the new kid. I had to earn my own rep. That's what he says. So he's like, okay, I'm going to have to do this. Yeah. But, so he like literally hands Annabeth the Minotaur horn that he's holding in his hands. And he's like, I'm ready to fight. And then Clarice drags him towards the bathroom. So that's where
he doesn't do any fighting. He's just like kind of kicking and yelling, but nothing is happening.
He can't really do anything. And so that's where actually, this scene was actually fairly faithful to the book, minus the fact that Annabeth was with him in the beginning.
Right.
Instead, we get Annabeth at the end, which we'll talk about. But it was, I actually liked how they did this. They pulled them in, right, to the toilet.
Yep.
And then you don't get to know the fact that he feels a tug in the pit of his stomach. He does say the plumbing starts rumbling. The plumbing rumbles and the pipes shudder. We get that a little bit with the toilet suddenly losing, like the water suddenly
gets sucked down.
And then also Clarice is the one who's holding his head over the water. It's not her goons.
Yeah.
But whatever. But then in the TV series they show that really cool 3
individual water spouts
coming out. It like blew the door off of the stall.
Yep.
And it just like pinned them down to the ground, right?
Yeah, it just knocks them down.
Yeah. So in the book, it actually literally pushes them out of the whole bathroom. And they land in like, I think mud or something, right? Or whatever. They're muddy because it's like dirt outside, whatever. But still, I actually was happy with, I think they did a really good faithful.
It looked perfect to me.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
And how angry they are. But you also do get in this toilet scene the first derailment of Clarice's personality, where she is saying, the reason I'm doing this is because I want you to admit that you are a fraud and that you didn't actually kill the Minotaur. So in the book, it's not that she believes that he did it. She's just a general bully.
Yeah, and I was trying to think about why they did that. And do you think they did that because they wanted to give her a reason to be mad at him?
Maybe.
Because here Clarice just does is like, you're a new kid. We're going to show you basically that we are, bad.
We're the bullies, and
bullies.
You need to be frightened of us because that's what bullies want.
And that's just the way it's going to be. And you can either stand up for yourself or you can't. But in this case, she's like, all you have to do is tell me that you made up the Minotaur and we'll let you go. Yeah. And he's like, but I didn't. You know what I mean?
Right. And she does that again. I captured the flag.
Yeah. So she's really pushing that.
If I had to guess a reason, I would say it pushes the glory aspect a bit. Like, she doesn't want to give him any glory for killing the Minotaur. If she can disprove it, or even if she herself doesn't believe it, then it gives him no credit, no glory. He's nothing but a liar.
Yeah, because he should have some glory with the whole...
Yeah, I mean, in the books, he does. Like, the other campers are impressed. They're very impressed that someone with no training was able to kill a Minotaur with nothing but...
Is it Minotaur? Not Minotaur. Yeah, okay, sorry.
With nothing but his own horn.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right. So it's an interesting thing that this is her... They've given her this whole thing instead of just being a bully. I don't know. Whatever.
I mean, in book 3... Spoiler warning for book 2. Skip ahead 45 seconds to avoid spoilers. I mean, this will play into her character. Like, it doesn't really go off too much, because in book 3, when Clarice is given a quest, and Percy's not given a quest, and then Percy, says, well, whatever, and just goes on the quest anyways. I mean, Clarice is so pissed.
I know. He's trying to take all the glory.
And that's what she thinks, but... Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. This happens in book 2.
Oh, yeah, no, this is
this coming season. Yeah, in Sea of Monsters, Clarice is given this quest, and Percy's like, I'm going on it anyways because it's to rescue Grover.
Yes.
And Clarice thinks it is all about glory in that book, and Percy's like, no, it's because it's Grover, and we're mind-linked, and if he dies, I die.
Totally.
So I think it will play into her character well in the future. It is a new thing.
Yeah, it is a new thing. So in the TV show, this is where we really meet Annabeth for the first time. She suddenly shows up. And I love that little interaction where he's like, I can explain. And she says, no, you can't. And he goes, okay. Because he's like, yeah, I really actually can't explain. So that's kind of similar because in the book, she's like, how did you ... And he's like, I don't know. Like, he can't explain. He doesn't know what happened,
Yeah.
And then he has that thing like, I know you. You were there by my bed. And then he's like, are you stalking me, Annabeth? And she says, yes. And he's like, oh. He didn't know what to say to that. He's like, okay.
Was not expecting her to admit it.
Yeah. And then it kind of lines up too, because at the end of the book, she says, he's like, what are you thinking? And she says, I'm thinking that I want you on my team for Capture the Flag. And in the TV show, she says, I was waiting to see if something like this happens. And he was like, what or what for? I don't know, whatever. And she says, you can help me win Capture the Flag. So in both cases, you don't realize at the time, but she's like going like, ooh, Clarice is going to so want to get back to you for that. Like, she's going to want revenge. I'm going to use you as bait. But she doesn't tell Percy that.
In the TV series, is that even made clear? It's made like medium clear.
No, 100%.
Oh, really? It's made
they throw him out in the middle of nowhere where he's just like,
and Annabeth is just watching,
peeing, and because remember they said that Clarice is always
hunting in
that area, and they needed to get
says
through
he has a
that
plan.
area.
Yeah, I guess it is made pretty clear.
No, they know that Clarice is going to go after Percy.
Yeah,
and it's going to distract her.
Yeah,
so it does line up. It is done a little differently, but it does line up.
And at least this time he does stay dry, just like he's supposed to. Like, he doesn't get wet at all, even though the bathroom got wet and the other people got wet. That's true. And in the book, even Annabeth is soaking wet, and like the whole floor's wet, and then there's just a perfect circle right around Percy that's dry. We don't get it that extreme, but he does stay dry.
That's not something that we keep going through with this TV series. So that's not going to be.
But that's the one. That's what I'm saying. It's the one time that he does actually stay dry when he's supposed to stay dry.
That's right. That's
and that
cool.
Does end day 2. So the final thoughts that didn't really fit into any of the scenes, but I did want to mention is, 1, they don't explain to Percy how the gods move with the power of the West, and that's why they're here in America instead of still in Greece.
Oh, yeah, true.
Which was, whatever, just something that Percy asked. But I think, like, I remember when I was reading it, I didn't think, why are the gods in America? Like, to me, it was never a question when I was reading the book, so I didn't feel like they had to explain it in the TV show, but I did think it's something interesting, is that the gods just move wherever the power of the West is strongest, which... whatever that means. It's whatever the gods think it means. Wherever they feel the most West power, is where they go. So it used to be Greece, and then it was Rome, and now it's America. And I bet, okay, per Rick Riordan's universe, this can't be true, but before Greece, do you know what there was? The Egyptians. So in theory, they should be the same set of gods. But it's fine because they are not in his universe, but I will always believe that because I don't really like the book series about the Egyptians. So you just pretend that doesn't exist. I bet you it's the same set of gods just moving all around.
Yeah.
Because Egypt was like a super powerful...
Yeah, true.
Super powerful situation back before Greece.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Or maybe they just have split... I mean, even the Greeks and the Romans... are technically 2 different sets of gods. It's just like they have split personalities.
But it's still the same gods.
I know. Because
in a way.
Because they're so similar. But I wonder if the gods split so far that they literally have 2 complete separate identities that don't even mix.
Yeah.
And that is what the Egyptian and Greek gods are.
Yeah,
it's like one day they split in half.
Right. Interesting, yeah. Do you have another note?
Yep, and the other one is that... another reason why we get so much more Annabeth in the book is that she's actually assigned to be his ancient Greek tutor.
That's right.
And so during what he does every day in his like daily activities at the camp is doing ancient Greek lessons with Annabeth every day. So even after he's been announced as the son of Poseidon and no one's talking to him and he's like sits alone for dinner and has his cabin all alone, he still sees Annabeth and talks to her every day. But then now instead of friendly chatting, she keeps it like really short and just does the lesson and then rushes off And anyways.
Okay.
But that's another way we get a lot more Annabeth in.
And I do understand that, like, the reason, and maybe we've already said this, the reason we don't do as much Annabeth right now is because we really want to flesh out Luke, and we know we're going to get Annabeth for the whole quest. So, yeah.
Very much so.
Okay. So, if you're done with your notes, I have my end of episode question. Or, yeah. Mm-hmm. Have we talked about which Greek gods are our parents if we were a demigod?
I don't think so.
So, who do you think your godly parent is?
See, I would always want to say Artemis, but Artemis doesn't have any children.
Yeah, so.
And I know I don't think I'm Aphrodite. And I don't think I'm Athena's kid. Of course, I don't have to be, the daughter of a goddess. Oh my god, oh my gosh, I just had
maybe
this whole discussion with Sean, and I don't even remember what god I picked now.
Maybe you're Poseidon. Maybe you're Zeus. You're going to have to, this will be homework. You're going to have to go, maybe do a couple surveys and come back and let us know.
Listen, I've done all the quizzes that exist, and they always tell me I'm Poseidon. But for what?
Just like you're a Gryffindor. It's like you, for some reason, just follow the main characters.
I think that I'm trying to answer the questions honestly, but, maybe I'm just, thinking about the universe too much and answering, how my favorite characters would answer.
I can totally see you being not the son of Poseidon, but the daughter of Poseidon.
But, based on what? Honestly, if anything, I would be the daughter of Zeus. I have the temperament for the daughter of Zeus.
But maybe you need to look at what are the characteristics of the kids of Poseidon.
I don't know. I mean, I guess Poseidon says, you're calm and stuff until, someone tries to hold you back. The sea doesn't like to be held back. It doesn't like to be told what to do, which is accurate for me.
It is, for sure.
So maybe I am. I just felt like I never had a real connection to the beach, or I don't like salty water.
Yeah.
The beach mostly irritates me. The sensation of sand on my skin is not fun.
Right.
I always get sunburned because I forget to put on sunscreen. So
you're just not a very good daughter of Poseidon, but you... Well, okay, we can go with that. So I have taken several tests, and it's always different, and I just don't agree with any of them. I just decided that I would be the daughter of Athena, and it goes with my Ravenclaw part of me, because I am a 50% Ravenclaw, 50% Slytherin, basically.
Yeah.
And I don't know where the Slytherin part goes in all this. I'm definitely not the daughter of Hades. So I don't think Hades
or Ares would be Slytherin. I think that Athena is Ravenclaw and Slytherin.
Yeah, see, she's the mix of Ravenclaw and Slytherin. I think the same thing. Yeah, very cunning. So I feel like that would be the correct godly parent for me. So that's what I decided.
Yeah.
So
I think that does make sense.
Yeah. Oh, and one more question. I'm sorry. I know I'm saying this longer than I thought I would. But if you were figuring out what you would be doing best in all those camp activities, including whatever's in the book, what do you think you do good at?
Super good at a rock wall, even with lava coming out of it. Wow. I'm a pretty good rock climber. I feel like I was good at archery at some point, but it's been so long. I don't know if I could say I'm still good at archery. I just had.
But if you're a camper and you're practicing.
Yeah.
See, I think I would be good at archery, and I would be good at ancient Greek, because there's the Athena in me.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what other activities. I can't imagine being good at sword fighting.
Me neither. Isn't that weird?
My brain cannot work that fast.
No,
I guess it would help having the ADHD, because that's, at least for them, it's supposed to kind of slow things down when they're going really fast. I don't know if that's really how ADHD works for everyone, but that is how it works for the demigods, at least.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I just can't imagine being able to think that fast or move that
kind
skilledly.
Of fast instincts.
Yeah.
I don't have. I'm the kind, unless it's a cup of coffee in my hands, I can catch that and keep it from falling. But other than that, I'm not very good at fast thinking of stopping something, catching something when it falls, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
I feel like that would have to be part of your instincts for sword fighting. So archery would be my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I think if I had to have a weapon of choice, I would prefer a bow and arrow over a sword any day.
You know what I want? I want bounce forward to the next book series and have a cornucopia. Is that what it's called? Yeah. Cornucopia. Okay. Which we won't get into anymore because then it becomes a spoiler. But that would be my weapon of choice. That would be awesome.
I forgot about the cornucopia.
The best weapon of choice in the world. I can just stand there. I don't have to do any physical. See, anything that has to do like physical stuff for me. That's why a bow and arrow would be so much better.
I would love if I could choose any power from any of the gods, having the magic speaking ability.
Charm speak.
Charm speak. Where like. Piper. Yeah, where you can.
So we are referring to the next series, which is what is it? Is it the Heroes of Olympus?
Yeah, Heroes of Olympus.
There's someone there who has those things. So
yeah, Charm Speak would be awesome. It does take energy and it does take power, but it's just you're just draining like your internal godly powers. It's not like so much physical activity.
Yeah.
And it's
are we just both lazy and that's why we want these easy things? Who knows? Okay, maybe. Good. Well, those were my questions for this episode.
Okay, cool.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, so follow our Instagram, Camp Comparisons. We post, cool questions like what's your nectar ambrosia? I'm sure we'll ask people what their godly parent is.
Mm-hmm.
And updates on our next episodes and when they're coming out. And then if you want to email us about, how cool this episode was.
Or your thoughts about that conversation with his mom over the fire.
Yep. Or, again, how excited you are still about the next season coming out.
Yep.
You can email campcomparisons@gmail.com.
Yes. And 2 things on that. One, I wanted to just thank the people that have rated our show already. So if you haven't yet and you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or I think probably even iHeartRadio. I don't know. I haven't looked at that one, how that works. But it's nice to rate us. That's actually how it helps us get seen by others, is by the ratings. So definitely appreciate that.
Yep. Just takes like 2 clicks of a button.
Yeah. And then just don't forget also, if you have other friends or if you're in any groups or Discords or Facebook that talk about Reddit threads, you talk about Percy Jackson, it would be really nice if you mentioned our podcast and told people about us.
Yes, please do.
Okay. Well, until next time.
See you at camp.
Bye.
Bye.